I can see all of you. I'd like to start with a poem by Mary Oliver. She's an American poet, and it's called Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about your despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across landscapes, over the prairies and deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination. It calls to you like wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. My name is Devon, and I'm a poet, and I also facilitate personal leadership programs. And I work with New Shoes Today, which is an organization, and we work together to change dominant paradigms in society, in organizations, and within ourselves, and we do that through creation and innovation. I was pretty nervous to come up here. I mean, the poet part of myself, every time I stand in front of people, I wonder, what can I offer you? And you read titles of CEO and R&D manager, marketing manager. So what does the poet have to offer you? And somewhere in that process, I have to look deep within myself and realize that you are all human. And we share a common humanity. And I think deep within all of us is a desire. And there's a deep desire to be loved. And there's a desire to give love. And there's a deep desire to construct and create and to manifest and to innovate from that place of love. And that's what I'd like to talk to you today about through something that I love, which is poetry. I think each one of us, and then Jeff Stays said that yesterday, is a seed. You know, each one of us is unique. No one can do what you do because there's only one of you. I think the question is how do you get in touch with that seed? How do you get in touch with that source? How do you become that flower? How do you become the thing that is truly, truly you? And I think the poem tells us how. It says, love what you love. Take your place in the family of things. And this world offers itself to your imagination. For many years, I thought that I had to be something. I was a project manager in many different countries. I was a process consultant. Until I realized, I was writing poetry, and I would let this poetry fall from my lips or fall from my hands, and I would brush it away as if it wasn't important. The thing that I could do that perhaps not anyone else could do was write the poetry that came from me. And so often I thought it wasn't important. But through the process of writing poetry and unraveling who I am, I realized one very important and simple thing. What I realized, if we're going to source our lives for passion, and we're going to source our lives for innovation, then you can't look out there. I think we're going to have to start looking inside of here. We're living in exciting times. I think everybody's talked about its chaotic times as well. We're living in a time where every single one of you can connect with other people worldwide. You're privileged if you're sitting here. You're privileged with the clothes that you're wearing. You're privileged with the mobile phones in your hands. You're privileged that you have access to all this information. And for me, that privilege comes with a deep responsibility. And I think one of the biggest responsibility is to become who you are and not to become what you think other people think you should become, or to innovate because it's interesting, it's nice to create something new, but to actually innovate from the thing that is you. This soul of mine within the heart is smaller than a grain of rice, or barley corn, or mustard seed, or grain of millet, or kernel of a grain of millet. This soul of mine within the heart is greater than the earth, greater than the atmosphere, greater than the sky, and greater than these words. These are words from a Kashmir Shiva text written over 1,300 years ago, or not such 2,300 years ago. And for me, they say something about the smallness of poetry, certainly in our society, the smallest because it's not economically linked. And actually the grandness of poetry, how it can connect and bridge the head and the heart, and that thing in you that wants to create. And what I've noticed is that a lot of us are unable to sit with ourselves. I was at a future center a couple of weeks ago. It was an innovation center for a client, and they had created this center, and it was beautiful. And when you walked in, it was to promote out-of-the-box thinking, so shake people up. And we went in, and they had the brain room, so you could be in the brain. They had the water room, so you could be in the water. And they had the nature room. And I think the moment when I went into the nature room and there was fake rocks that you could sit on, and the carpet was a fake bed of grass, and I looked up at the ceiling and it was a fake tree. And something struck me about that, and I went outside with my colleague and I said, Willem, what's wrong with us? Can't we see what's right in front of us? This creation around us, the natural living world around you is creating constantly. It's abundant. It never stops. Do we have to go into a room to see that? And because each one of you is part of that, each one of you is a thread. I'm a thread in the fabric of this wonderful place we're living in. That means you are in constant creation. So innovating and creating doesn't necessarily have to be something that we think we do, harden our bodies to do, work hard at doing. I think what you need to do is plug into yourself. You. This is by Carol Ann Duffy. Uninvited, the thought of you stayed too late in my head. So I went to bed, dreaming you hard, woke with your name, like tears, soft salt on my lips, the sound of its bright syllables like a charm, like a spell. Falling in love is glamorous hell, the crouched, parched heart like a tiger ready to kill, a flame's fierce licks under the skin. Into my life, larger than life, you strolled in. I hid in my ordinary days, in the long grass of routine, in my camouflage rooms. You sprawled in my gaze, staring back from anyone's face, from the shape of a cloud, from the pining, earth-struck moon which gapes as me as I open the bedroom door. The curtains stir. There you are in the bed, like a touchable dream. And I think that you are your own touchable dream. And in some ways, it's necessary to fall in love with ourselves. And sometimes when you discover your passion or your innovation, sometimes when you go through that process of discovering actually what wants to show itself to the world, it's sort of like meeting a stranger because your ego and your head and the world around you says you got to be important. And it's so limited. I mean, when something in me came out of me and said, Devon, you've got to stand in a room of about 1,200 people at a conference on creativity or at a business conference and read poetry, the first thing I thought was, why? Why? Don't make me do that. But there's something in me that wants to share myself with you. There's something in me that I think if we can share these things in ourselves, if we allow ourselves to emerge, then we can truly create and we can truly innovate. Kabir, a mystic poet who lived 600 years ago, wrote this about the stranger. Are you looking for me? Are you looking for me? I'm in the next seat. My shoulder is against yours. You will not find me in stupas, not in Indian shrine rooms, not in synagogues or cathedrals, not in masses, not in legs winding around your neck, nor eating nothing but vegetables. When you really look for me, you will see me instantly. Kabir says, student, tell me what is God? He is the breath within the breath. You won't find yourself out there, and nobody can tell you who you are or what to create. You will find yourself in the breath between the breath. One of my most profound experiences was when I did a Vipassana retreat. I had to be silent for about 11 days. When we go into those rooms in ourselves, we don't always like what we find there. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons we don't go there. It's easier to say that company has to innovate, my team has to innovate, we have to innovate. It's harder to go within those innovation rooms in yourself and to find out what's there. And when I did that retreat, I found a lot of joy, I found love, but I found a lot of ugly things as well inside of myself. I found hate and anger and fear, a whole lot of fear. Do you know who's sitting beside you today? Have you looked at that person? And how often do we really look at the people sitting beside us? This is my own poem. It's called Skin. Wrapped around your body, protecting the heart from its longing, a gentle unfolding. Light enters places long forgotten, buried beneath the noise of work. A piercing of the heart, opening wounds of the past, carrying it into the future. It is the intense light that burns the forest of darkness, preparing the ground for that small seedling, green and lush, finding its way to the surface. I am still breathing. I am still breathing. And the sun and the moon meet under our skin, a gentle unfolding of the layered boundary between you and I. When we allow the creation that we are to unfold and emerge, and we become just a little bit softer, you notice that at a conference like this, everybody's sort of hiding either behind your titles or hiding behind your telephones or hiding behind that black gadget that we all received. And when you sit here with yourself, it's never just kind of sitting here. And why are you here? Do we know why we're doing the things that we're doing? And I think that if we allow ourselves to see who we are and we allow ourselves to emerge and connect and reconnect, the things that we can do together will not only be innovative and inspiring, they will be life-affirming. I don't want to put down anyone, but I don't know if we need another toothbrush. Jungian psychologist Jung said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is a reaction, both are transformed. It's time for transformation. Our newest innovation is you. It's time that you fall in love with yourself. It's time that I fall in love with myself. And it's time that we connect on that level. At the root word of creativity is to give birth to. Giving birth is never easy. It requires a surrendering to something long before the outcome of that something is tangible. It is a surrendering to the unknown. Second, it never happens without pain and hard work. And third, we're asked in pregnancy to love what we cannot see. To love the child without ever having to see her face, without ever having met her until she's ready to enter the world. So part of that creation or innovation process has to do with your ability to withstand not knowing. We're a no culture. I'm going there. Company's going there. We're all going over there. And we're all in a big hurry to get there. And I'm sort of wondering, where are we all going? Because everything is here in this moment. If you really become aware of yourself as a creation, if you really in this room, in this moment, became aware of what's going on in your body, what a wonderful, innovative machine that is. And if you can get in touch with what you love, if we can just get in touch with what we love right now, and if we can share that as human beings together, then, I think, then the innovation, which will take us through this chaos, the innovation we need to help our social problems, the innovation we need to make sure that the economy becomes the servant to our love and not the other way around. Economics was supposed to support us. It was support us to give meaning in our lives. It was there to support us to do the work we wanted to do. And somewhere in the process, we became the slave of economics. So the creature we created is controlling us. And I really think that the only way that we can change that around is by every individual getting in touch with themselves. I want to leave you with final words from Mary Oliver. And she says, "Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?" Thank you.